All right, enough talk about theory. Let's get down to actually installing Ubuntu Server. The first thing we need to do is prepare our installation media. That's going to be either a CD, DVD, or a USB thumb drive. And I will show you in this video how you can burn either a CD or a DVD, or you can put the installer onto a USB drive so that you can install Ubuntu Server on your machine. Now, let's go ahead and get started with that download, and then I want to share some other things with you. So you'll just go to ubuntu.com, and then up at the top here, we'll go to Server. Now, here's what we need to talk about. If you have a 64-bit processor, then you can just click this download Ubuntu Server link and then download. Notice here what it says, 64-bit only. Now, if you don't understand the difference between 32-bit or 64-bit processors, it's really not a huge deal. Know that 64-bit processors tend to be the newer processors. Pretty much everything's moving towards 64-bit, and 64-bit programs and operating systems can only run on a 64-bit processor. So there's no backwards compatibility. If you download a 64-bit program or operating system like this here, it will only work on a 64-bit processor. If, on the other hand, you download a 32-bit program or operating system, that will run on either a 32-bit or a 64-bit processor. Okay, a lot of this is probably not a big deal, but I'm bringing it up because I want this course to be complete, and some people may not understand the difference there. If you already know if you have a 64-bit processor or a 32-bit processor, then you know that you either need this version or we'll go get another one. So if you need the 64-bit version, which tends to be the newer processors, then you can just download it right here. Okay, if, however, like the machine I'm using, if you're using a 32-bit processor in your machine, you can see we've started to download the 64-bit version right here. It's a moderately large file, so it's going to take a little bit to download. I already have it downloaded, but just want to show you the process. That's how you download the 64-bit version. However, let's go back. If you need a 32-bit version, click on Alternative Downloads and Torrents. You just download BitTorrent. It's a program that it's a peer sharing program, and it allows you to get a quick download of Ubuntu. If you need the 32-bit version, there it is right there. So you'll need to go get BitTorrent. BitTorrent.com. Here you can download BitTorrent if you don't already have it. And again, please understand, this is only if you need the 32-bit version. Otherwise, we've got our 64-bit version downloading right here, and you will be good to go. Okay, but if you need it, you can download and install BitTorrent, and then what you'll do is you'll download the torrent file, which you can see here. Let me bring up my downloads. You can see the torrent file here. Torrent file is small. It's hardly even a file, and so it's not going to take any time to download. Once you open it, if you have BitTorrent installed, this is what you're going to see. You can then select a location for the file, hit OK, and what's happening with BitTorrent is that you're able to get a faster download speed because you are pulling from multiple users, from multiple peers, and so you really are able to get a very fast download in most cases. And so here's the 32-bit version if you need that. And so now we're good to go. Okay, you've downloaded either the 64-bit version or the 32-bit version. I've already done that. I already have it on my desktop, so I'm actually going to go ahead and close this, as I don't need those downloads. And what we'll need now is either a piece of software to put the ISO image onto a USB drive. Let me just show you the ISO image here. Let's see. Ubuntu server. I have the 32-bit version here, and I have my 64-bit version here. Okay, two different versions there. Once you've downloaded your ISO file, then you'll need either a program to burn that image to a USB drive or to burn it to a CD or DVD. Now, the image will fit on a CD, but you can also put it on a DVD. Now, why would you put it on a DVD instead of a CD if it'll fit on a CD? Well, you could be like me and you don't have any CDRs laying around. So all I have are DVDRs laying around, so I will be burning it to a DVDR, but don't worry, the process really is the same. So to burn to a CD or DVD, we're going to be using a program called InfraRecorder, and that's going to be at infrarecorder.org. This is a great program, totally free. And we'll go over here to downloads on infrarecorder.com, and then obviously you'll select the correct version for your operating system. And so you can download it and install the program. I already have mine installed right. Whoop, there it is, right there. If you are installing on a USB drive, a USB thumb drive, then you can go to pendrivelinux.com, and they have a super cool utility on here called the Universal USB Installer. Okay, so you can download the Universal USB Installer. Oh, guess what? I've already downloaded that one too. And it's a little program that allows you to put that ISO image onto your USB thumb drive. So let's go ahead and walk through this. I'm going to pop a DVD-R into my computer, and I'll show you how you can use InfraRecorder to burn your ISO image to either a CD or a DVD. And then after that, I'll show you the process using the Universal USB Installer and how to put the ISO image on a USB thumb drive. Does it matter which one you do? No, not necessarily. But if you have a computer that doesn't have an optical drive, it'd be pretty hard to install Ubuntu server off of a CD or DVD. But if it has a USB port, which it probably does, then you could use the USB thumb drive. Other than that, if your server or whatever computer or laptop you're using as a server, if it has an optical drive, if it has a USB drive, then it comes down to personal preference. What's easier for you? I'm running Windows 8 here. Windows 7 is going to have something similar. When you put in a blank disk, cancel. You do not need Windows services for this. We will be employing InfraRecorder. So go ahead and open up InfraRecorder and then go to Actions and then Burn Image. Okay. We have to select our ISO image, and so let me select that here. And we will burn. I'll be burning the 32-bit version. Okay, i386 is the architecture. I'll be burning this version because my laptop is 32-bit. It will not take 64-bit. I highly recommend you utilize the 64-bit version of the operating system if you are able to do that. But in this case, I'm going to be burning the 32-bit version. Some options come up here. You select your optical drive. Write speed can be maximum. That shouldn't be a problem. Write method, that's fine. Your defaults here are going to be okay. You can say if you want it to eject after it's done writing, don't click simulation. All of this is fine. Okay, we definitely want to close the disk. There's no real reason to pad the data tracks. Buffer underrun protection, sure. Yes, that's all fine. Okay, and then we'll see here that the burn process will begin, and because it's less than 600 megabytes or so, it really doesn't take a very long time to burn at all. Now, while this is doing this here, I want to show you the Universal USB Installer. What you'll do is you'll come in over here to Ubuntu Server Installer. You can see our burn is starting over here. You'll select Ubuntu Server Installer. Now, this is pretty cool. If you don't already have the ISO image, you can actually yeah, you can actually download it. No, we don't actually want to do that. We went ahead and downloaded it. So what we'll do is click Browse, and then we will go to our ISO image here and select the file like that. Now, the trickiest part about using a USB thumb drive is that you don't want to accidentally select some other sort of drive. This program is pretty good at just showing you what it thinks are USB thumb drives. So you can see it's only showing me the F drive, which is in fact my thumb drive. But be very careful here. You can see it has an option to show all drives. You could really mess some stuff up here. Okay, so if for some reason it doesn't find your thumb drive, you can show all drives. And then I highly recommend that you go in here and you verify, okay, this is my thumb drive. Okay, take a look. Yes, this is my thumb drive. It's the F drive. And then you can select it here. Now, if you choose to format your USB thumb drive, you're obviously going to lose all the data that's already on there. You don't have to format it. I feel like it's a good idea to format it, but you don't have to, at least to start with. If you already have some data on a thumb drive, you don't have to select the format option, and you can see if it works. And if it works for you, great. But if you try to boot it up and it doesn't boot or something, then why don't you clear off that data and format it? Again, I like to format it. That's just something that I like to do, to have like a clean thumb drive and everything ready to go there. So you can see over here that our optical disc is just about done. It is just closing out now. And let's go ahead and get started burning this to our thumb drive. Okay, so my disk just popped out over here. I don't know if you heard that or not. And so our progress is completely done. The disk was successfully closed. No error message. Okay, so you've burned it to a CD or DVD. Now, if you want to burn the image to a thumb drive, you can go ahead and do that. Now, this is just a final warning. It's letting you know, hey, this is the drive I'm using. I seriously hope that's the drive you want me to use. And furthermore, I'm going to format it. So now would be your chance to say no if you don't want to do that. We, in fact, do want to do that, and so we will select yes. This whole process really doesn't take that long. It takes a little longer if you format the drive, but really not much longer at all. And again, all of this is preference unless, of course, your machine doesn't have an optical drive. I can hardly imagine that your machine wouldn't have a USB port. Okay, USB's been around for so long. So this can be a convenient way if you have a computer that doesn't have an optical drive, then you can burn this to a USB thumb drive. That's really all there is to preparing your installation media. As you move on, I will show you how to install Ubuntu Server, and I'll also show you how it is possible to verify your installation media. So to make sure that your installation media is good. In particular, what I mean by that is with a CD or a DVD, there's always a chance that slight errors will take place during the burning process. And you want to make sure that you have an error-free copy of Ubuntu Server, because if you install Ubuntu Server with errors and files, you're obviously not going to get a good result. So we'll talk a little bit more about verifying your installation media, and then I'm going to walk you through the entire installation process. So don't worry about that. I will record the entire time as I'm installing Ubuntu Server. And just one more thing, I'm probably going to say this again, but this is important. If you burn a CD or a DVD, or you create a USB thumb drive to install Ubuntu Server, and you then encounter some sort of error, sometimes you'll see an error message that will say that it's the wrong architecture, but you don't always see that error message. Sometimes you'll just see a black screen when you're trying to install from that disk. If you're getting that, odds are you're trying to install the 64-bit version on a 32-bit architecture. So if you're having those problems, like it won't boot, or when you select to install or verify, you just get a black screen, or it freaks out your computer in some other way, why don't you try downloading the 32-bit version? Again, remember, we used BitTorrent for that. And you can see here, look, this is almost done. So you can see how quickly BitTorrent goes. So if you need the 32-bit version, just install BitTorrent, use it to download the 32-bit version. You're good to go. The USB was successfully created, installation done, process is complete. So we are good to go. You've now learned how to use InfraRecorder to burn the Ubuntu server installer to either a CD or DVD, or universal USB installer to put it on a USB thumb drive. Let's move on to actually installing Ubuntu server and then dig into using our new test server.